Good evening. I hope tonight that President Obama would have told Americans it's time for change. I hope he would have acknowledged that Obamacare is bad for health care, harmful to our economy, and punishing hardworking Americans. I had hoped he would acknowledge that Obamacare is an insidious law. The President should have conceded that the economy continues to leave millions and millions of Americans behind. Now, I know all of this to pundits may be wishful thinking, but Americans are worse off by every objective measure than when he took office. They are hurting. I hope that the President would have admitted that many of his policies have failed and demonstrate leadership by changing course. Unsurprisingly, given his arrogance on Obamacare and most other policy questions, he said none of these things. Instead of solutions, we heard more of the same divisive rhetoric that's become so routine from his administration, and we listened to the President recycle the same tired ideas that have led to this economic malaise. $17 trillion in debt and a government healthcare takeover that is hurting millions of Americans. Worst, we heard the President of the United States stand before the American people and promise to promote his failed policies by executive decree, bypassing our Constitution and its system of checks and balances that have served us so faithfully for the last 225 years. There is a better way forward. I will continue working to get our economy going by getting government out of the pockets and off the backs of hardworking Americans. Like the President says he does, we want to help people live better lives. We just have a better, proven way to do it. The House has passed over 40 bills to do just that by reforming the tax code, rolling back unnecessary federal red tape, and unleashing the American energy production. Unfortunately, these bills are stacked on Senator Harry Reid's desk awaiting a vote. He won't even hear them. A critical part of fixing the economy is for government to stop doing harm. For example, raising the minimum wage sounds good in theory, but in practice, it will only hurt those desperately in need of jobs by making it harder for small businesses to hire. Every day that Obamacare remains law, its insidious nature becomes more apparent. There is a better prescription for healthcare reform. Recently, I joined with several of my colleagues to write the American Healthcare Reform Act. This law would repeal Obamacare and empower Americans to make healthcare decisions for themselves and their families. It would allow Americans to be better healthcare consumers. The American Healthcare Reform Act would lower costs, improve choice and competition, as well as help those with pre-existing conditions purchase affordable health insurance. Beyond creating jobs and opportunity and protecting Americans' health care, we must ensure that the freedom and opportunity that have always been the birthright of every American will continue for generations to come. With $17 trillion in debt and $100 trillion in unfunded liabilities coming down the road very soon, Republicans and Democrats must act to ensure we do not become the first generation to leave the next one worse off. The last 5 years have demonstrated that Washington is already too big and tries to do too much. Americans want better government and smaller government, not bigger government. The key to America's greatness rests with you, the American people, pursuing your hopes and dreams with the freedom and liberty our Constitution guarantees. Thank you and good night.